Welcome to the Hosel Rockets podcast, the #1 golf podcast for new product launches, interviews with industry experts, golf trends, and more. Here are your hosts, Jen, Ken, and Bill.
Hey, I'm Jen.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Bill.
Want to thank you for joining us for this week's Hosel Rockets podcast. This week we are going to be talking with Nancy Maul from the Northern California PGA office and Will Stockholm, who is the Northern California PGA Hope Veteran Ambassador. We're going to be going over the PGA Hope program. Before that, we have some exciting stuff we're going to be talking about. What are we going to be talking about, Ken?
We have a bunch of brand new shoes, and then Bill's got a new study that Pinehurst did on the bottom of shoes and how you can hit it farther.
Yeah.
I thought we should also talk about basically ways to stay healthy during the holidays as well.
Eating lots of pastries and sweets and
cookies.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a way to stay happy during the holidays. I'm not sure you're going to stay very healthy that way.
Well, when you're happy, you're healthy.
There you go. All right, let's dive in.
Oh, you want to start with some of these new shoes?
Okay, let's go over them. What do we have here?
So I went out and picked a bunch of new shoe introductions, and all of these have come out within the last 30 days or so. We have them all up on our sponsors, MortonGolfSales.com's website. So if anybody likes these and wants to take a closer look at, they can look at them there.
So before we go in, what are some of the trends going into 2020 just overall for shoes?
Weight, breathability, and soles, and you're going to see a couple different versions.
They going to be heavier, lighter?
Much lighter, and you'll see that here in a little bit. And then the knit fabric that's so prevalent right now in running shoes. In fact, you came home with a pair of New Balance shoes.
I came home with a new pair of New Balance shoes that I swear are like they're like slippers. I picked them up, I looked at them, I'm like, I'm not sure I like these, and then I tried them on just because they were on clearance, and I'm like, anything that's on sale, I'm gonna try them on, and I'm like, okay, I have to have these. They were the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned, and I love them.
So that knit fabric we're seeing prevalent in all kinds of footwear introductions from a bunch of different manufacturers now.
Across those, I don't even know what those were, but they weren't golf shoes. So, is that kind of fabrication also making its way into golf?
We are. So Nike Roshis have been out a couple of years. They kind of have made that their forte. They're available in about 10 different colors. FootJoy has knit shoes. I've got a New Balance one here that we'll look at here in just a minute. Adidas has them. You name it, all the manufacturers are making it. And why they like it is that it's super breathable and it's super lightweight.
What's the durability on those? Because that was my thought on those that I got, is I'm not sure how great those are going to last over time. But I don't care because, they are so comfortable.
Well, I think that's the gist of why people are liking them. It's a secondary shoe. It's a lightweight summer shoe. They're typically less expensive than a leather shoe also, so you might end up buying 2 pair, but it's the same price as maybe a high-end leather shoe that you might wear.
That's true. This was definitely under $100 pair of shoes.
Yeah. Okay,
so dive in.
So I'm going to start with a couple pairs of a brand new shoe line called Athlons, and I'll give you guys these. You're seeing a lot of their advertisements on Golf Channel currently.
So I'm going to just spell this Athlons, Athalonz.
Yeah. They have been working with national long drive champions, both on the men's and the women's side. Local Heather Lemaster is one of the female winners. Local. Yeah, she
used to be.
Has since moved away, but she's one of their, as Athlons is one of their sponsors. What the gist of this shoe is they're actually angled. So, at normal footbed, actually, should be kind of flat. In this particular one, they're actually angled in slightly. So that it looks kind of like pigeon-toed on the footbed inside the shoe. And what their testing that they've done is that they feel like that's the power position when you're hitting golf shots, and that they have done testing and show that you hit it about 4.5 yards longer with an Athlon shoe than with a regular shoe. I've not tried them on. It's
They look really good.
Yeah.
And I can see the footbed inside. I know you're not going to be able to see it, or if
But
you're
you can
listening,
see
but
the ankle.
Oh yeah,
see
you
the
can see
angle.
it. Definitely,
really
it's
cool.
definitely
Yeah.
angled.
So kind of a unique concept, I thought. So that's the Athlons. It's called the NV Golf. It retails for $160.
Well, we'll see if it pans out with our other survey.
Yeah,
here with
exactly
the
right.
lotteries.
Come on.
Oh, there's a little teaser,
Yep,
something that's
yep.
coming up a little bit later.
Next
Now, hold on. Do they have proof on this whatsoever on their website, or can you?
I think if you go there, they've got the test results that they've had a third-party company do for them.
So an extra 4.5 yards. I mean, there's the cheapest improvement to your game that you can get. I mean, you can't get that on. All right, so Athlons, improve your game.
Yep.
4.5 yards.
Next one's FootJoy Women's Leisure Shoe, and as we're talking about weight, you can feel
These
how
are
lightweight
so
that shoe
much
is
lighter
there.
than the
Yeah.
Athlons.
Yep. Brand new lady shoe.
What? What's that laugh for?
I mean, it's okay. Kenny, his nose is still there barely, but that's fine. Yes. This is about as light
I
as
did
a
not hit him
a
in the
tissue.
nose.
Definitely.
Wow.
As we go further along,
Wait,
another
so
lady shoe.
are you just sharing that because it's lightweight?
It's got this super cool for those people that are listening. This kind of, at the end of Avengers when everybody turns into the dust. It's kind of like got that look to it, kind of a design along the side of it.
And it matches Ken's shirt today.
Yeah, there
Nice.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should put these on.
You should put those on. Do
Speaking
they make
of
them
matching-
in 10.5
Yeah.
quadruple?
No, not in lady shoes.
Huh.
So the next one, and we're talking about the mesh shoes. This is a evolution. This is the New Balance Women's
Also light.
Minimus SL, which SL stands for super light. That's made with that mesh material that we're talking about. And they call it the Minimus because they've actually taken material out of the sole of the golf shoe to try to get the heel of your shoe as close to the surface of the grass as you can.
Why?
Wait, say that again.
So
Get your heel as close to the surface of the grass.
they're trying to get you as low down in the shoe as they can. So
Okay.
they have this new material called Fresh Foam. But if you guys feel like, with this shoe, there might be, an inch and a half between the footbed and the bottom of the shoe. With that one, it's super close to the bottom of the shoe. So
So
you're
the
sitting
one
down
that's
low,
in your hand right now is the FootJoy,
right?
and then the one that we're talking about is the New Balance Minimus.
Yeah.
And then why does New Balance want to put your?
They feel like that the closer you are to the hitting surface, the more grounded that you are in the swing. That if you're up on your heels at all, like a typical shoe is a little bit, that your balance isn't as good, and so they're just trying to get you down as close to.
And there's no compromise in support because it's closer to the...
According to them, with the Fresh
with the
foam
foam?
sole that they have,
Okay.
supposedly there's not.
All right,
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, and this one is only 6.5 ounces.
It's incredibly light.
It's insane.
I mean, literally when I took it, my hand like rose because
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be lighter.
Yeah, they have a
Heavier.
men's version
Yeah.
that's
Sorry, heavier. Thanks. I can't talk.
They've got a men's version called the Fresh Foam Lynx Super Light. It's a little heavier, but it has the knit front on it, and that Fresh Foam footbed that they have on there too as well. This one, they actually take the the knit, and they actually put this little ridge around here, which is a waterproofing material that they put on there. So it actually has a 2-year waterproof guarantee on it.
I would have to think, with how light these shoes are, that by the end of your golf round, you would still just feel so much more
Yeah.
refreshed,
Yeah.
and less tired. I realize it's just a small aspect of your game, but with just a few ounces of weight, but I would have to think over time, and with your average round of golf being 5 miles or something, that this has to have an effect over time.
Yeah.
I think this is a really nice feature.
As we're talking about the pricing too, so it's $70 for the women's shoe, $100 for the men's shoe.
Well, that's a nice,
It's a great value.
yeah.
And they're really, again, for our listeners, they're really good looking. They're really high-tech materials. They feel awesome.
Yeah.
They look fantastic. In my
I
opinion,
really
so.
like the New Balance.
And I'm a good example. I wear a 10.5 Triple E shoe, and New Balance is the only one that will make a shoe wide enough for me too. So those that have extra wide shoes All right, and then last but not least is some new FootJoy men's shoes. So this one is actually a limited edition line of shoes called the FootJoy Flex LE1, and they're actually suede, kind of a silky soft material that's on there. They come in this pretty blue color, a tan, and a gray color, and then it actually comes with 2 different tonal and contrast laces that you can switch out and kind of make a design there too. And then at the
it's just, what's the deal with these?
This is kind of the
contours are long-standing shoe for comfort and
versatility to be able to kind of wear them on and off the golf course.
Yeah.
So you could work in these and run out and play on the golf course with them.
Kind of look like boating shoes.
A little bit with the wingtips. Yeah.
They're more of a traditional
classic
looking golf shoe.
Yeah.
Feel terrific though.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
They have a huge sole around for
Yeah.
stability.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so lots of these have spikeless outsoles.
Wait, what about this other?
So this is the Contour Casual. It's more of a buffed leather to upper. This has a 1-year waterproof guarantee and has more traditional spikes on the bottom. So this is going to be après golf, be able to use outside of the rounds of golf if you so wish. This is going to be more specifically golf designs.
Did you want to see one of these, Jen?
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
I could pass it right in front of Ken's face and I'm going to take his nose off if you want.
So, Billy, we teased it earlier.
Yeah.
There's a new study I know that Pinehurst just did on spikes versus spikeless,
which we've just shown several pairs.
Those that are watching us here, you'll
Can
see.
you even get a spiked golf shoe anymore?
Well, this is spiked.
Yeah,
Oh, you found one.
tons and tons of them are.
Yeah, there's still, and we, in Morgan Golf Sales, we still have a lot of these spikes that we sell. So even though they're soft spikes, they're still spikes. And the study was about the players and their gear. So who were these guys? 14 high handicap golfers and 14 low handicap golfers. What did they do? 10 measurable drives using each golfer's own driver. And what did they wear? So 5 drives were hit with cleated shoes, and 5 drives were hit with spikeless shoes. And it says it's all in the distance. So in average, everyone gained an average of 4.35 yards when they were wearing a spike shoe.
So 4.5 yards longer wearing spikes versus non-wearing spikes.
Yeah, versus, just like you said, you could go from working in the shop or at your day at work going around on the golf course with a pair of these. However, it sounds like you're going to get a few more yards if you're wearing a spike shoe. And so, just to be clear, the low handicappers gained an average of 2.65 yards. The high handicappers gained an average of 6.04 yards.
Wow.
So
that's a major difference.
That's a lot of yards.
I mean, it's if you're a beginning golfer and you want to hit it farther, clearly you needed cleated shoes to maximize your distance.
So we should call this episode of Hosel Rockets the episode that greenskeepers don't want you to know about, right?
With the soft spikes, they don't do a lot of damage. It's when they went from metal spikes to the soft spikes,
that helped things.
That helped immensely.
You could still, if someone's twisting their feet on the greens, you're going to get maybe a mark or two, but definitely better conditions with the.
I mean, it's almost a half club longer.
Yeah. Well, the fun thing about this entire study was called "How to Gain a Football Field on Your Drives Every Round." And what they say is a high handicap golfer can gain over 100 yards per round by wearing golf shoes with removable cleats. That's the equivalent of hitting the distance of a football field per 18 holes, or losing 1 club length per hole.
Wow.
So it's pretty neat.
Okay, that's significant amount of yardage.
Yeah, when it's over 18 holes for sure. Yeah.
So you can either wear spiked shoes, or you can pick up these Athlon shoes.
But again, the Athlons don't have spikes on the bottom, so that's why
that's
it's kind of fun.
That's an interesting thing.
However, I think their concept is good because it does. You do want to keep your weight, and I think this will help transfer your weight properly. It'll be interesting to see. I'd like to try some on.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I have one little thing. I mean, the holidays are here. I lost an entire week of work last week because I've been super sick with the flu. So I thought, with the holidays coming, maybe we should talk real fast about how to stay healthy during the holidays. and just for us to discuss.
She sounds healthy, can't you tell?
Yeah, you sound, yes, very...
I sound better
Very
than
nice.
I have sounded. Okay, ready? Here's your tips. Stay hydrated.
Okay, what does that mean?
Drink.
Soda? Well,
Probably water. Although I do have the healthiest cocktails as well that I thought we should go over as well.
because that'll keep you healthy.
Just off the rails right out of there. So, yeah.
Wash your hands. Say no to treats. So no cookies.
Okay, I'm off this train.
Yes, I've been a bad boy the last few days with
Have you?
Yeah.
all the holiday stuff. Yeah.
Or snack wisely. So snack wisely, what does that mean? A lot of people are like, what does that mean? So try to keep your snacks at about 150 calories, no more than 10 grams of sugar. Realistically, high protein items are good choices when you're looking at the snack trays. Get enough sleep. Bill, have you been getting enough sleep this weekend?
No, I have not. Well, yes, I have. I don't know. Don't look at the bags under my eyes, but yes, no, I haven't.
Okay, try to prevent overeating and don't overdrink, which segments my way into what you should be drinking if you're wanting to have.
Getting us mixed messages.
Yeah, what is this?
Okay, so I thought, maybe we should look to see what your best alcoholic choices might be.
Okay,
over.
let's hear a fun cocktail.
Alcoholic choices or alcohol choices?
So, and if you drink one of these alcoholic choices, does that mean you can eat a whole tray of cookies now too? Because that would kind of go inside.
Good choices. So it's all about, yes. So number one would be champagne. It's only 90 calories. I think if you're really going to go all out, you could have a mimosa. Add some orange juice.
A whole bottle of champagne is only 90 calories?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Oh.
I think that's just a glass.
Oh, okay.
But then they have such tall, skinny glasses. I don't even know if you're really
Who
getting
stops at just one glass of champagne?
I know.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it says here, early snack wisely, 150 calories, so you could have 2 glasses of champagne and still sort of be in your calorie thing, right?
But
Okay.
then no snack.
That's quite a snack, yeah.
I think you add orange juice, make him a mimosa, then you're getting good vitamin C, and then that's a healthy treat, right?
I think snacking wisely is more like eating 11 cookies instead of 12.
Yes,
What do you think?
I totally get. I like that bumper sticker that says "I'm into fitness," like fitness. This pizza into my mouth. Yeah.
I thought, like, I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
Those are two good ones.
There you go.
Yes.
How about rum and a diet soda? It's only 96 calories. Vodka soda. That sounds gross. I don't even know what this is. Have you guys heard of Sazerac?
No. Why are
I
you
don't know
telling
what
us
that is.
drinks that are gross? I thought these were supposed to be good things.
Yeah.
Gin and tonic is 148 calories. An
Mhm.
old fashioned, 154 calories. Paloma, 166. Or a mojito, 168 calories. Boom. There you go. Those are your healthy drink choices when you're at the bar this holiday season.
Healthy alcohol choices.
Maybe those aren't healthy. Those are low calorie.
Jumped the shark on
Yeah,
the show.
I think so. Because the other thing she said was like fun, but then she mentioned a drink and said that was gross. So I don't know why we told you about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm just trying to help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I think we break and we bring back the people that are going to tell us all about PGA Hope.
Awesome.
Well, this week I'm super excited about our guests. We have a program that we run here at the Hagen Oaks Golf Course, but is a national program called PGA Hope. And we've had it here since 2016. We have a lot of heroes in and around America, those that serve in our armed forces, and a lot of them come back and have either physical ailments or things that we can't see, and it's using golf as a way to rehabilitate and create this cool social network. And I have 2 people in here running the program. So to my right, we have Nancy Maul, who is the executive director of the NCPGA, the Northern California Golf PGA, and they help run PGA Hope as well as a whole bunch of other initiatives in and around Northern California. And to my left, we have Will Stockholm, who is a PGA Hope ambassador, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a little bit. Most importantly, however, a veteran in our Marine Corps. So thank you for your service.
Yes,
we
thank you.
really genuinely appreciate it. So thank you guys for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're excited to be here.
Appreciate it.
Nancy, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to just dive right in and ask you if you can just give our listeners who might not be aware of what the PGA Hope program is, just an overview of just to define that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So the program is a 6-week program that we in Northern California hold both in spring and fall, and it introduces golf to veterans. We actually choose the sites for our programs near VA hospitals and clinics so that we can connect with the clinicians and the doctors at those clinics to really try to, while it's open to any veteran, we really try to find those veterans that are seeking, either help physically. Some of them are in treatment for rehabilitation from various wounds. Some of them are there for brain trauma, PTSD. There's just so many different, things that that they can be dealing with. So we really try to draw our veteran group from those, sources. And the goal of it is really rehabilitation. We're using golf to really help them, if in the best way, get out of their head, and we know golf.
Right.
When you're trying to hit that ball, you can't be thinking about much else, right, Will?
Absolutely.
And so we just love it. It's a great program, and as you said, Ken, it's a national program. There's probably over 100 sites nationally, and we have 9 sites here, 10 next year, and so it's pretty exciting.
Considering it just started in 2015, it's remarkable how fast it's grown.
I think nationally it started in 2013, if I'm
That's
not
correct.
mistaken.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it did. So nationally, it started in 2013. Here, we started in 2016. Was our first program down at Cypress Lakes. We had our first session. We had 3 veterans. We call them our 3 amigos because they were the first ones that showed up that first day. I think we had 6 instructors and three students. So
that's awesome.
they got a lot of attention.
Wow.
But by the end of the program, we had 15, veterans there, and we've now just this fall program. We've now served over 1,000 veterans through the program in Northern California alone. So
That's amazing. For this, probably a question for both of you is what that 6 weeks entails if you're a participant in it.
Actually, before I even do that, what does PGA Hope stand for? What
Good
does
question.
Hope stand for?
Well, PGA Hope stands for Helping Our Patriots Everywhere, and I mean it's fitting for what they're doing for us is getting us out and through the game of golf, helping us rehabilitate, and through community support, come out of our shells, deal with some of the mental issues we've got, some of the physicals, or if just it could be spirituality, whatever it is. It really gives a platform to draw the veterans out, introduce them to the game of golf, which is part of your question about what the clinic entails. It's kind of like an indoctrination or an intro. This is golf. Here's some fundamentals, some very basic stuff to get you at least introduced and out there being able to swing. And one of the great things about it is through that clinic you start networking with other veterans, and it's amazing because you'll have veterans from the Vietnam era, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, different conflicts, Iraq, Afghanistan, of course, OEF and OIF as we call it. But you start networking, you find we're all alike. We're all dealing with the same things. We're all, trying to overcome some of the challenges that, if you've been deployed to any of these combat theaters, what it's doing for you as a network, it's bringing us together. And it's doing it around the game of golf. You get introduced to golf. We have different stations that you go from putting, chipping, and then the driving range, starting, from square one, posture, working up all the way to a swing. And then through that 6 weeks, you eventually get out on the course. You play, a 9-hole scramble at the end, and just to get what it feels like to be on an actual course. After that, the great thing is you become a graduate. So it's not just a clinic where you come in, hey, I got some lessons, and then have a nice day. At the very end, you become a graduate, and it's just like for me being in the Marine Corps, going through boot camp. Once you earn the title Marine, that's with you for life. And you're kind of building that network and that community and that organization through PGA Hope. becoming a graduate. Now I can participate in the things that PGA Hope does as a graduate, and of course that's why it landed me here in this ambassador position, which I'm, grateful to have this opportunity, because not only as a veteran who's gone through some things myself and been able to cope with a lot of it through golf, just wanting to give back as well, because I know what it's like to have some of the pains and struggles, and seeing other veterans, we want to help. Just like, you all want to help, from your aspect, a veteran and a veteran helping each other. We do that instinctively. So that's what I, really want to accomplish, is building a stronger veteran community through the game of golf and PGA Hope.
To your point about it being this great social network upon graduation, we have a group every Sunday of PGA Hope graduates that come out and play together that have now are fast friends that most of them didn't even know one another prior to this program. And, it's given them a purpose every single week. It's awesome.
Well, Ken, it's interesting you say that, and because after our first program, we hadn't thought that through, right? And so we get through the program, we graduate our veterans, and then it's like, okay, so what's next? And we were, we really hadn't thought that. Honestly, we hadn't thought it through. And so that's what got our play days started. And we know Hagen Oaks has play days, Thursdays, and now they're so full we have to add another day in for those. And it's because we are building a community, and so with that we want to make sure that there's what's that next step, and how do you make sure to stay connected and be out on the golf course. And the other piece of it, I think, that's really important, which really makes it more unique than any other really sports program out there, is that for veterans, is that the VA endorses, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Veterans Administration, and it's because it's only taught by PGA professionals, and the PGA professionals have to go through an adaptive sports instruction training to really help understand, how to instruct golf. And it's not just with the physical parts of it, but how to interact, verbally with veterans, and understand, even just that touch when you're trying to help them with their swing. For some, that can be, not comfortable. And so, just all of those elements, the VA really supports this program, and it's the only sports program that they have that kind of agreement with.
So is there special training then you're saying that the PGA
pros have to go through? So they have to both be PGA, and then they have to go through this training.
Wow. I know here at Hagen we have some adaptive carts. We call them UFO carts that we use, and I know some of the other facilities have them with some of these vets that maybe are restricted to wheelchairs or are amputees. Maybe walk through the listeners kind of what those mean to them and how they work.
Great. Well, so there's a couple of different, as you said, types of equipment for veterans, and really kind of anybody that has some kind of physical limitations, right? But there's a solar rider cart that allows you to be in the cart, and the cart will shift you and help you to kind of get up so you can, manipulate your swing, which is really, for so many who think that, gee, I can't go out and golf, you actually can, right? You can get out there, you can swing that club, and you can hit that ball, and it'll go somewhere. It may not go where you want it to, but my ball doesn't usually go where it wants to either.
It doesn't for any of us, so yeah.
So join the club. And then there's these really unique para golfers, I think they're called, and they're for a single person, so they're like a chair basically that you can drive around, or those advertisements you see, gee, I can't get up or whatever, and it gets you up. That's what that piece of equipment does. So as an individual, you can be riding out there, and it pushes you to a full stand, and then you can get your full swing going, and then slides you back down. They're just amazing pieces of equipment that really just open up the game to so many more people.
And they can go virtually anywhere that anyone can walk on the golf course. You can drive them on putting greens, chipping surfaces, wherever you want, and they have a large, oversized wheels on them and do no damage to the golf course. They're really remarkable pieces of equipment.
I know one of the students we had just this last fall at Hagen had come had just a recent amputee, and he was in such a dark place. And he had done some golfing. I don't know, how good of a golfer he was, but he had done some golfing, and he was really, really in a dark place. And He came out to the program. His therapist had suggested it, and even after the first day, being able, we helped him go from one clinic, segment to the next, the putting green, etc. And we also adjust some of the clubs so that the lie angle's a little bit differently. It makes it a little bit easier for the ball to get up in the air. Some of them are shorter. We actually have some tees that are really high, so if you're in a wheelchair and you just want to be able to swing a club that way, you can just do it, play that way. And by the end of even the first session, he's like, wow, I can actually come out and play this game again.
They view themselves as athletes again, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's really important just to mention because, it's really hard with veterans these days coming back and integrating back into society for not everyone, but a lot of them. And I know suicide is a really pressing issue in the veteran community with up to 22, I believe, suicides daily. And so there are so many programs available, golf being this PGA Hope program being just one of those programs available. What's the cost of a veteran that wants to participate in this program?
The great news is for veterans, it costs them nothing.
That's really amazing.
That's so amazing, and
time.
The NCPGA Foundation, our role is to find the money and then pay for the programs to really help our veterans be able to begin the game of golf and see that there's an opportunity for them to come out and have fun and connect with each other and build that community.
And for those who are listening that may not just be in Northern California, it might be just globally. What's the best way as either a veteran or someone who might want to look into donating or supporting the program? What's the best way to either get in touch to participate or to leave a donation? What's the best way on that?
So for locally, ncpgafoundation.org, and click on PGA Hope, and it tells them where our clinic locations are, and it has a link to be able to sign up if you're a veteran. If you'd like to help support veterans through this program, there's a donate button in a couple different places all over the website. So ncpgafoundation.org. And from a national perspective, pgareach.org is the organization nationally that supports the program across the country. And it also has a great finder, like map finder, so it helps you find the locations of PGA Hope across the country. So for anybody interested in finding a program, Will and I were actually just talking about a friend of his, not located in NorCal, so very easy to find the locations across the country.
And well, how did you get involved with PGA Hope?
Interestingly, I was at my chiropractor in the VA in Martinez, and we always talked golf. He was a golfer, and we had talked enough to where that was a common thing we shared. And one day I went in. As soon as I said golf, he goes, "You need to go check out this program called PGA Hope." He sent me the information. And I looked online. It just so happens the next day was the first day of the clinic. So I emailed Susie, got on the list, showed up, and from there I've been heavily involved. Same. I had the same impression as she was talking about with this other veteran. Same day, it was just, wow, this is amazing that not just that they're taking the time and effort to do this for us and put all this together, but you can genuinely feel the love, the support. It's very authentic, and there's a lot of organizations out there that want to do good, but sometimes you don't feel that very welcoming. The identity aspect and the purpose, and I found that with PGA Hope, and they've given me opportunity after every opportunity to come up here, be in Golf and Guitars, and I saw, what you all do for veterans on that day, going to Bethesda, Maryland to become an ambassador. And
give us the scope and kind of what the plan is with those 20 vets that have been named ambassadors.
Doing this,
okay.
What we're doing right now is really getting out and promoting the program and sharing knowledge about what it's about, as well as what it's done for us.
And they're all former participants, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
All veterans were scattered throughout, and just helping promote the program, build that community, and tell our story. because that's one of the aspects where veterans, especially those who deployed coming out, you find yourself not being able to relate to a lot of civilians just because of your experience, your exposures, what you've encountered. And there's a disconnect, either through cultural reasons, language reasons. We have our home dialect, kind of, we may bust each other's chops so hard, but at the end of the day, we know that we've got each other's back. And Laura Miller actually encountered that at the Ambassador Clinic, and she was amazed at how much we can just, rub it into each other. But when it comes to it, we support one another.
Brothers in arms, right?
Absolutely, brothers in arms. But, as an ambassador, be that spokesperson. Get out there, tell your story. Reach out, help veterans, help the PGA section themselves, do whatever it takes to grow this program, because it's community. My own experience is learning that once I'm in an environment, and me and Nancy were just talking about this driving up here, an environment where I can trust. That's the biggest thing, is trust. The people that I'm around, that they have my back, and they're genuine about it. It's about character. I'll talk to some of my other veterans, and that's one distinctive difference, I think, when we get out, is we're still about character. Not how much money you make, not where you come from, but who are you? What is your character like? So it's finding that identity through PGA Hope that, we talked about a little earlier, and that purpose. It gives us identity, purpose, trust. The language is there, the support. It's a phenomenal program that I'm fortunate to have been introduced to this, because who knows where I'd be right now. I was on that dark, spiral downhill too. You wouldn't know it because I was very internalized about it. I was spending less and less time outside of my house, and knowing I already had a great appreciation for golf, but once this opportunity came up, I'm like, PGA? I'll do anything with PGA. But it also helped me, and I know the rest of the ambassadors across the nation would speak to this, is really get a first-hand experience of what PGA as an entire organization is doing for the veterans in Bethesda, because that experience was an unbelievable experience to really see people come out of all sorts of organizations and put a lot into this. In fact, one of the ambassadors, Mary Coquel Anderson, who's down in Florida, she said something that really resonated with me, and she's a Vietnam veteran. She said it in an interview, that it finally gave her that welcome home that she never got from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the more I listen to that and I dwell on it, I'm like, how many other Vietnam veterans are sitting out there with the same feeling, but they've calloused it?
Right.
As a good friend of mine, Jerry, talked about, calloused it.
About half of the veterans we serve in Northern California are from the Vietnam era.
Okay.
Probably half of them.
Wow.
And I think it's really important too. I think, Will had some exposure to golf. The other gentleman I mentioned had some exposure to golf. You do not have to have held the club in your hand at all to join this program. It's for any veteran, and again, especially we want to be able to try to heal as many as we can't heal them, but we want to give them golf as a tool to help in that process.
Well, I'm going to give an example of where it did. So we had a young lady in our very first program that we did here at Hagen, who was restricted to a wheelchair at the time, learned to play in our adaptive cart. She was another one of our special guests at Golf and Guitars to play in that tournament. She came in May of this year and walked through the front door of the Super Shop to come give me a hug, and I was crying when I saw her. I'm like, holy moly! And she fell in love with the game so much that her passion at getting better forced her to do exercises and physical therapy that she had just taken off the table before, and the game was really her deciding factor to invest in herself. And she's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but golf gave her purpose. And you guys have to have success stories like that every day,
many.
Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. We have 1,000. We have 1,000 stories. Every one of them's different. Every one of them is so touching. I think I cry in the office at least once a week. Seriously, from different stories, notes, cards that we get. We get all these wonderful thank you notes from all of our veterans, and I have to say, for the instructors and for us as staff, I mean, we are so, I mean, this is family, honestly, but the instructors will tell you they think that they're getting more out of it than the veterans themselves. I mean, it's such a, and this is where the trust comes, because we'll you can sense the love and dedication that the PGA professionals have to this program and to the veterans, and so it just the connection is just magical, honestly, kind of magical.
Where does the program kind of go from here? I mean, is it continued fundraising to expand it, more sites, more teachers, more vets, more VAs, or all of the above?
I think it's probably a little bit of all of the above. We want to make sure to grow in an organic but managed way. So, because what's really important, again, we learned this very early on, you don't want to start a program that you can't maintain. You want to make sure that you have the funding to be able to continue the play days and keep that community together. So we're looking at some new sites, but we want to grow that as we can, and funding obviously is a key part of it.
Yep.
We have a couple of key fundraisers that we do every year. We are dependent on donations and fundraisers. I mean, and grant writing. We do grant writing as well. So those are our primary
We've
methods.
mentioned Golf and Guitars a couple times
Yeah.
to the listeners here. That's a big music festival we put on every May in Sacramento. A big portion of the funds raised run through our Morton Golf Foundation to PGA Hope. So if you're in Sacramento and you want to help support PGA Hope by coming out and having a good time, that's a great opportunity too. So,
And we're very grateful for that support.
Yeah.
Thank you to Morton Golf Foundation.
That's great.
Yeah.
And on a national level, I mean, in 2018, I believe the PGA Hope program had 2,000 veterans. In 2019, they were projected to impact 2,500 veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, on a national level, you can see as well how much this program is just really growing as well, because of the just the need of that. So it is pretty remarkable to see the impact that the PGA and ambassadors such as yourself are having on the community around you.
And to speak to that, coming into the program, I thought it was pretty well established, which it is. It's only 5 to 8 years old. And after going to Bethesda and going through the first inaugural golf and wellness clinic that they hosted, we're still in the infancy of this program. There's so much more that we're going to do in long term to make sure it's sustainable, but we're still in the infancy. And the way I see it is just building the community, that veteran community, to where golf brings us together, but we network, we support one another, and we're very resourceful. We're utilizing skill sets that we acquired in the military. Especially the longer you stay in, you learn how to network and be resourceful, and it's doing that with this program with the underpinning of helping the veterans through PGA.
By the very nature of anyone joining the military, it's giving back to those that can't do it for themselves, like those of us that didn't serve. I'd imagine this helps fill some of that goal for you long term, with wanting to continue to better your community, better your America, better everybody around you.
Absolutely. And then being a retired Marine, I still stayed in for 18 years, took an early retirement, but just being in for that long, you really develop a servant mentality, servant leadership. Because your job as you rise is not necessarily individual focused, it's about bettering your team, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And it's taking that mentality to, we see the challenges amongst the veteran community. What better platform, what better position to be in than as an ambassador, executive director, and PGA, to give back and help the fellow veterans find their niche, find their purpose, find their identity. We were sharing on the way up here about, a fellow Marine that I had to go pick up, doing some, he was on drugs and on some hard times and might not have been here 2 days later had I not picked him up. So when that comes to your doorstep, you hear about it, but when it's on your doorstep, and we're not going to ignore it. And I had to explain this to my wife, who understands, she's been married to me long enough, in the Marines and outside the Marines, she knows where I'm coming from. But you don't ignore those calls. And when you get those calls, you answer it because you don't want that on your conscience. And it's just the right thing to do. That's what's ingrained in us. Serve one another. And through numbers, we succeed.
Bless both you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us, for sure.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have you guys on again at some point in the future and hear all of these numbers of everybody that we're helping double and triple down the road.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, in just a moment, we will be going to our Jack Burgeroni segment. Stay tuned after these messages.
Hey, Bill here. I wanted to pause real quick to thank our sponsor, MortonGolfSales.com. Morton Golf Sales is the #1 online retailer for all your golfing needs. From the newest clubs on the market to the classics that you can't find anywhere else, Morton Golf Sales has the best products and customer service at the lowest possible prices. Want to check out their huge online inventory of clubs, clothing, golf balls, accessories, and save 12% on your first order? Just use coupon code ROCKETS at checkout on MortonGolfSales.com. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Now, back to the show. Mom's Beef Hash has a first name. It's from a Can We See.
But we all have another name. We call it untasty.
We hate to eat it every day.
And if you ask us why, we'll say, 'cause Mama's hash tastes like trash and we should feed it to the dog. Welcome to the Jack Burgeroni Experience.
Hey, welcome back. Jack Burgeroni.
This is the week.
All right, let's hear it. What is it?
I don't know.
Come on, I've got plenty of friends that keep asking every week when you're going to reveal
I know,
Jack
I keep
Burgeroni.
forgetting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the world's worst kept secret, right? Or best kept secret. I don't know. One of the two. All right.
Depends on your
Okay.
point of view,
Yeah.
worst or best. But anyway.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
What's our topic for Jack Burgeroni this week?
We're going to talk about our favorite club that we have at our house that
So
belongs
Kenny
to
and I are
us.
just doing this segment because clearly you wouldn't have a favorite club since you don't
Actually,
play
I
golf.
know that she does.
Oh, okay. Let's hear about this.
No, I don't have to start.
Why not?
Okay, I'll start.
All right, I'll start. Oh, no, go ahead.
After you.
There clearly isn't a... Okay.
Age before beauty.
Well, that's true. And best favorite club of the three, so I should go.
Yeah.
So, I know we've kind of maybe talked about this before. Jack Nicklaus won his record 6th Masters title in 1986 using a new putter that McGregor came out with called the Response ZT. And it was just like this one. And I have this limited edition model of Jack's putter. And I idolized Jack when he was, or when I was younger, and all of his amazing accomplishments in the game. And so,
He looks like a CVC infomercial guy, by the way.
well, sorry.
Yeah.
Should I start talking with an English accent to make this more popular? That was really bad. But anyway, I can do a better one. I just wasn't prepared. So, Jack won the Masters with this, a model just like this. And so I had to have one. And I went out and purchased one when I was, I think I was 18. Or my dad bought it for me, actually. But the one I had was actually just a little bit larger than this model, and it was silver. It was all silver. It wasn't the black one, because they didn't have that one available at the time. I used it every single round. I putted great with it. I had so much fun. It was just so important to me as part of my equipment at the time. And one round, I was playing with this guy, and a couple of our other, and I think his brother, and Tom, and then our other friend Jacob. And I missed a putt, and for years I would always, like, if you miss a putt and you get frustrated, I would toss the ball up and take a half swing at it, like, pretending you're going to actually hit it.
Like a baseball swing.
Like a baseball swing. And because I'm very uncoordinated and very unathletic, according to all of my friends, they always tell me that, I would never even come near hitting the ball. However, this one particular time, I missed a putt out here on the Alistair McKenzie course on the 15th hole, and I, thought I would be show my anger because I should have made the putt, and I took the ball and took the baseball swing, and lo and behold, I hit the ball. And not only did the ball go, 100 and something yards,
150 yards.
the head of my putter went right along with it, over the fence towards the freeway. And I was mortified. I stood there with the mouth agape, and tears started running down my face. And
For real? Did you cry?
He was
did.
really upset.
And all these
Probably more
guys,
upset because we were laughing.
yeah, oh yeah, the laughter was, it was too much. However, these guys, I don't think Kenny did, but it's probably
No.
Tom and Jacob, scaled the fence. I don't care about the ball. They found the head of my putter. Oh, I should have brought that. I still have that as well.
Of course you do.
But it was not repairable because of the way the putter's designed. So, long story short, if it was long, the very next summer, Ken and Tommy and their
Wait,
dad.
what's the other putter?
Well, hold on. This is the limited edition, but this became and still is my sacred favorite club. It is the Response ZT, the model and size that Jack used. However, it's in a what's called a white rubber finish. And I broke more people's hearts making putts with this putter for how long?
We would be out here putting for money in the wee hours of the night, nonstop, and I think you paid for a car with that putter.
Could be pretty close.
Yeah.
So I love this putter to pieces. It's still in amazing condition, being how many years old is it now? 30,
Yeah.
34, 35 years old almost?
Yeah.
So one of my favorite gifts from my best friend, and it means a lot. It's been super fun. I keep it in good shape. But the reason I was showing exactly, Jennifer just asked, I brought the black one that I have, a limited edition, that's also in this little box over here. But this is the one I use for a lot of years, playing every round. And I still have it. I probably should take it out. Oh, and by the way, I know it's huge. It is super lightweight because that was the whole goal behind it. The moment of inertia, because the size, kept the putter face super square, impacting the ball. That's why I made so many putts.
How long
still
did
use
Jack
it?
putt with that? I mean,
Not that long.
yeah, I mean,
Another
only like a year or two,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the most. It didn't have the same magic after he won the Masters that year.
Do you still use it?
No, I do not. I should. I brought it out, not too long ago, but since I'm not playing that much golf these days, I've been putting with an Odyssey putter now for 15 years. So
The same one?
the same one.
Wow.
Also. Anyway, that's my favorite club.
Nice.
All right, you guys top that.
You're up next.
I don't even have a story for mine.
Okay, go to Rich Kenny.
Okay. I have, my favorite club is a Scotty's Custom Shop putter, which I'm not even going to be able to say much about.
You just rang a bell. That was interesting.
It's a Delmar 2 long slant putter that Ken had made for me. So you're going to have to start talking about it, Ken.
It's a beautiful putter.
Yeah, so we had a trade-in years ago with this Trillium putter. So Tiger won several of his major championships with a Titleist Scotty Cameron Trillium putter. That's the insert, the gold insert that's on the face of the putter there. And so she collects Scotty Cameron putter covers over the years.
Collect Scotty Cameron putter covers, actually, which
Yeah.
I do love, by the way.
And so they
That is
had
a
this
collection of
pink
mine.
one that came out, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I send this putter down to her, and then she could have a putter to go with the putter cover. So at the Cameron Putter Shop, which is down in Southern California, you can send putters down and have them refinished and customized in a whole bunch of different ways. So they refinished it for us and then put some pink paint fill on the Hosel and on the sole of the golf club, put the Scotty's Custom Shop shaft band on it, and a really cool Win style Scotty's Custom Shop grip on it. And
In pink also.
In pink also.
In case
so
you're listening.
it's totally all girled out for Jennifer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's still brand new. I wonder why.
Yes. Yeah.
But it looks amazing.
It actually is kept in my room. I have it actually next to my bed, but
She hits it with me when I
was
don't
going to say,
listen.
if Ken gets out of line, you and I were thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
it isn't used, however, so he hasn't gotten out
Well,
of line.
you keep a cover on it, so who knows how many times he's been...
Softens the
Yes.
blows.
Alright, so that's fine.
All right, and my favorite putter is also a Cameron putter. When Scotty first signed with Titleist, so before Scotty Cameron was with Titleist, he had his own putter company, and then before that actually made some putters for Mizuno. There was a putter called The Reason that he designed and made for them, but when he first joined Titleist, he came out with a series of mallets, and one was the Bolero, which was a large, oversized silver mallet, and then they made a small run of this red Caliente Bolero putter.
I've always liked the color on this putter.
Yeah, and so when it first came out, I fell in love with the color. It's a just really cool design putter. I was able to unscrew the sole of the golf club and actually load it up with a whole bunch of pennies to make it a little bit heavier, because I liked a really heavy mallet at the time. And I still use it. So I use it nonstop. This came out in the early 90s. And my first one just got completely beat to heck. This finish, as beautiful it is doesn't wear very well, and so mine was really marked up. And a mutual friend of ours, Brad Barnett, who now works for Bridgestone up in Washington, but he was the Titleist rep up in Washington for a short window of time too, and Alaska was in his territory. And he went up to one of his Alaska golf courses up there, and they had one sitting on the shelf still 16 years after this putter was introduced, wow. Which is a very funny story. And he knew that I putted with it, and so he ended up trading him a brand new pair of FootJoy shoes for this putter and sent me a brand new version of it. So thank you, Brad. And to this day, I still use it. So, it's...
it doesn't have a lot of wear on it, however.
No, not this current one. My other one I have at home is BTEC, pretty good.
Kenny plays golf almost as much as you do, Jennifer.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, so this is my prized possession, too. It's funny, we all picked putters.
Yeah.
It's pretty, everybody in their own bag. That's kind of the most passionate club we have in our bag all the time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about my putter.
Very. Yeah. Bill's story is the best by far, though.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
With that, I think that's it. Are we ready to bring this episode of Hosel Rockets to a close?
I think so.
We want to thank you for watching. If you like the show, please leave us a review. Follow us, subscribe. Check us out on hoselrockets.com. Support our sponsor, MortonGolfSales.com. You can always use coupon code ROCKETS to save 12% on your first purchase. And with that, we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.